Volunteers with machine guns as pressure to capture the capital city heightens. Good evening and welcome to News Round on Impact Africa Television (IETV). I am Bolapo, famous school. President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the 2022 Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law. Buhari signed the bill today at the Council Chamber of the Presidential Villa in Abuja. Speaking after signing the bill, the President noted that he received input from relevant ministries, departments, and agencies of government after a careful and thorough review of the bill and its implications to democratic processes in the country. Buhari noted that the bill will improve and engender clarity, effectiveness, and transparency of the electoral process, as well as reduce to the barest minimum incidences of acrimony arising from dissatisfied candidates and political parties. The President also affirmed that the bill will ensure good governance, even as he urged the National Assembly to amend the Act in line with the Constitution. He, however, rejected Section 84 of the bill, saying it runs contrary to the Constitution. Meanwhile, former Senate President Bukola Saraki has commended President Buhari for signing the electoral bill into law. Speaking today, Saraki also applauded the National Assembly, civil society organizations, and Nigerians for insisting on a new electoral law ahead of the 2023 general elections. Similarly, former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has commended President Buhari for signing the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law. In a statement today, Ekweremadu disclosed that the journey to the new Electoral Act is by far the most frustrating. He, however, affirmed that the Act will ensure good governance and strengthen the nation's democracy. Ekweremadu noted that the bill will open doors to the use of technology in the electoral system, check executive excesses, manipulations by political parties, and strengthen the independent National Electoral Commission through financial and administrative autonomy. The former Deputy Senate President said with the electronic transmission of results, the electoral process will experience early primary elections and adequate time for INEC to prepare for elections, among other breakthroughs. Ekweremadu also noted that Nigerians will now be encouraged to exercise their franchise, knowing their votes will count. With the presidential assent given to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill to make it a law, the House of Representatives has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to start the preparation for the 2023 general elections. In a statement today, the spokesman of the House, Benjamin Kalu, commended the President for the signing of the bill. He also urged Nigerians to ensure that they register to secure their voters' card ahead of the forthcoming elections. Kalu affirmed that the House of Representatives is committed to strengthening the nation's democracy. In the meantime, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to roll out election guidelines ahead of the 2023 general elections. Atiku made this known today following the signing into law of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill by President Buhari. Atiku noted that the act will enable political parties to commence the process of choosing their leaders in 2023, adding that the legal framework for the 2023 elections is now in place. He also urged the electoral body to roll out guidelines in earnest so that the political parties and Nigerians can be fully prepared for the forthcoming elections. Also, the Inter-Party Advisory Council has described the President's assent to the electoral bill as a sign of good things to come. In a statement today, the National Chairman of the Council, Yabagi Sani, noted that the signing of the bill will reduce some of the challenges facing the conduct of elections in the country. Sani also called on INEC to immediately commence the adoption of the new act for the preparations for the 2023 general elections. And still on electoral matters, the spokesman of the coalition United Political Parties, Ikenga Ugochinyere, says Nigerians can now be optimistic of having credible elections with the signing of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill into law. Ugochinyere, who spoke to journalists today in Owerri, stated that President Muhammadu Buhari has shown patriotism and defended his oath of office by signing the bill into law after much pressure. He noted that the signing of the bill has wide implications for the democratic system of the country. Ugochinyere submitted that the law, which provides for electronic accreditation of voters and transmission of election results, will solve previous legal issues that had arisen in that regard. He identified the provision of early release of funds for elections and conclusion of parties' primaries 6 months before polls as another milestone achieved by the law. Ogochinyere maintained that granting the Independent National Electoral Commission the power to review already declared election results, as well as affirming that number of accredited voters should be used to determine overvoting in an election, are among the provisions of the law. Away from that, the Independent National Electoral Commission has expressed readiness for the Ogoja Yala Federal Constituency and Akpabuyo State Constituency by-elections in Cross River State. It will be noted that the elections are slated for the 26th of February. Speaking today during the distribution of sensitive materials from the Central Bank of Nigeria in Calabar to the local government areas, the National Commissioner of INEC, Festus Okoye, said the whole process has been hitch-free. Okoye also ordered that political parties and civil society organizations have inspected the electoral materials deposited with the bank and confirmed their authenticity. According to him, the materials have been moved to the various local government areas where the by-elections will take place. Okoye further revealed that 3 resident commissioners from Oyo, Edo, and Enugu states will supervise each of the local government areas. The Ondo State government has announced the restriction of vehicular and human movement across the Akure North-South Federal Constituency over tomorrow's by-election. In a statement today, the State Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Donald Ojogo, said the move is to ensure a violence-free election. Ojogo affirmed that the state government is committed to an electoral process devoid of infractions and breaches. He revealed that all adjoining roads leading to the federal constituency from areas outside the prescribed jurisdiction for the purpose of election are equally close to vehicular movement. It will be recalled that the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) had distributed sensitive materials across Akure South and North Federal Constituency. The distribution took place in presence of the representatives, political parties, security operatives, and the national officers of the Independent National Electoral Commission at the head office of the Central Bank of Nigeria in Akure. INEC also reassured residents of the state of its readiness to conduct a free and fair exercise.
About to distribute the sensitive items to the 2 local governments. Before now, we have distributed the non-sensitive materials to the 2 local governments.
The voting point result forms are also going to be distributed, and they will be merged to the respective polling units where they are derived. The
federal government has summoned the ambassadors of Russia and Ukraine to Nigeria, Alessa Shebarashin and Kidoda Veleri, respectively, over the evacuation of Nigerians from both countries. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyema, who met with the envoys today, disclosed that the federal government will not condone the violation of the territorial integrity of a United Nations member state, a country which Nigeria has diplomatic relations. Onyema also urged Russia to revert to the status quo before the military action and prioritize diplomacy and dialogue. He affirmed that plans are ongoing on the practicalities of how Nigeria can get her citizens out of Ukraine, those who want to leave the country, and what measures they could do as they are moving into facilitating help and to safeguard Nigerians in Ukraine. Onyema maintained that Ukraine is a country that Nigeria has diplomatic relations, a member of the United Nations, and cannot condone the violation of their sovereignty and territorial integrity. Away from that, the geopolitical strife between Russia and Ukraine, which has assumed a terrifying dimension with the ongoing Russian invasion of Ukraine, has undoubtedly become a cause of concern to many. IBR's Ayodele Fakir report that this is because Russia-Ukraine war has distorted global financial and energy markets, causing oil prices to spike and financial instruments to fall after Russian troops moved into Ukraine by air, land, and sea. Reacting to the development in media and conflict experts, Shola, while giving reasons behind the invasion, said there has been tensions between Russia and Ukraine for a long time, even as he revealed that the situation escalated in early 2021.
Been predicted over a period of time for a number of reasons. One, the hegemonic ambition of Vladimir Putin, has been there for a while. He still swims in the nostalgia of the former Soviet Union, and he thought he could still bring back those countries that were within the Union during the Cold War era, and especially during the communist era, even though a lot have changed since that time. He's wary of the dominance of NATO and members of NATO, threat hegemonic tendencies in Eastern Europe. And of course, you know that America is the one that is rallying NATO around, and already many of the former Soviet states have become members of NATO, save the closest to his borders, Ukraine, Belarus, and a few others like that. And so it's not so comfortable with them sharing borders with him and then going to join NATO. Government had been warned over time that we stop all these dependencies. Already, the barrel of oil, crude oil in the international market has risen to 105 since yesterday when the conflict started. So that means it will have some negative effect on our economy because we buy processed oil from abroad. Even though we may be enriched slightly, but those money that we are going to be making is likely to be eroded by the fact that we don't process anything here. So that's why I think it will affect Nigeria most, because many of our importations are procured from Russia, from Ukraine. Even a lot of our weapons that we use to defend ourselves comes from Russia and Ukraine, and that's a very, very dangerous thing. I think the international community should be very, very careful, because Vladimir Putin is like a drunken bull in a China shop. He has nuclear weapons, and he will not hesitate to use it because he has already warned that any country that intervenes, that is ready to use anything to deter them. I think the international community have to be strategic in the way that they will handle Vladimir Putin, because I don't think economic sanctions alone being proposed by America would deter him.
Ishola likewise said Nigeria's economy will be negatively impacted by the war, stressing that international community has to be strategic in handling and the war as well as handling the crisis. We're going to break now. News Run returns shortly after this. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Adelayo Academy, an astute citadel of learning dedicated to raising future leaders.
Adelayo Academy, a co-educational school with day and boarding facilities, is committed to instilling virtues needed to make a headway in life.
Our science laboratory is equipped with state-of-the-art facilities that makes learning very easy for students.
Our teachers are highly trained and up to the task of passing down knowledge in the most easy-to-learn ways. As you all know that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, our playground is top class and we take physical health exercise very importantly. Located in a very conducive environment in the heart of Ibadan at Adelayo bus stop, Alagba Wakajaye, Iyano Church.
Adelayo Academy is the best option when it comes to giving your words a quality education.
Wow, I'm impressed. Mommy, Daddy, I want to attend the Adelaya Academy, please.
Thank you. This is the school we have been looking for.
Admission form is obtainable at the school premises, Adelayo Academy, Wakajaye Yano Church, Ibadan, or Impact Africa Television, IATV, Impact House, Kolapo Ishola Estate, Yano Church Road, General Gas, Akubo, Ibadan. You can also visit the school website on www.adelayoacademy.org or call 0805 947 9449 or 0706 091 0776 or 0810 965 2215. You can also call 0805 527 5583. Adelayo Academy, developing character, competence, and confidence.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies fast.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws,
proper funding,
training,
and cooperation.
If it happen.
If it happen.
If it happen.
Welcome back. You're still watching News Round on Impact Africa Television, IATV. Now the rest of the news. The Senate has called on federal government to declare all known leaders of terrorists wanted. The call was made following a motion considered on the urgent need to stem the increasing spate of kidnappings and insecurity across all parts of the country. Moving the motion, Senator Balatin bin Nahala harped on the urgent need to surmount all kinds of kidnappings, banditry, and related security challenges in Kebbi State. Nahala noted that with concern, the current security rise is security challenges in the state and across the federation, and further attributed the problem of insecurity to the great number of out-of-school children, practice of early marriages, and abject poverty in the north, even as he called on the federal government to apply policies to curb the trends. Some indigents of Offa today protested the delay in the case involving the suspect of bank robbery in Offa 4 years ago. Speaking in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, they called on the state government to ensure fair justice in the matter. It will be recalled that armed robbers had attacked 5 banks in Offa in 2018, killing 33 persons, including policemen, in the process. Some suspects are currently being tried in the State High Court in Ilorin, but these Offa indigents are dissatisfied about the perceived delay in the dispensation of justice.
This case, I don't think it can even reach today before it will do before everything will end like this. We want the justice to be done immediately, because we are for people. We are not happy. We are not happy at all. Enough is enough. Let justice be done.
So we obtained the addresses and last adopted. So the case is now 25th of April for ruling on no case submission. Now after that ruling, then the case proceeds. I can assure you, from the gamut of evidence before the court, including the video footages that we have played, I can assure you that the defendant will be called upon to enter their defense. And you see, in law, you have to bear with the system. The law believes that it is better for 10 accused persons to escape than for one innocent person to be punished unjustly.
Away from that, the National Association of Academic Technologists has issued a 2-week strike ultimatum to the federal government to meet their demands, or its members will go on strike. Addressing journalists today in Abuja, the president of the association, Ibeji Onwakoma, said the 2 weeks ultimatum will last between 28th of February to 14th of March. He also added that the strike will start from the 17th to 31st of March should the federal government fail to meet the demands. Owakama lamented that the government has remained insensitive to the genuine yearnings, agitation and demands of its members over repositioning of laboratories, workshop studios and public universities across the country. He enumerated their demands to include the non-full implementation of the 2009 agreement, the refusal to release the enabling circular for the implementation for academic technologies as contained in the MOU of 2017, 2020 and 2021, and the non-payment of earned allowance for its members, among others. In a related development, the Ogun State chapter of the Colleges of Education Academic Staff Union have called on the state government for the quick intervention in addressing the infrastructure decay in the State College of Education, Tai Sholari College of Education. The National Vice President of the Union, Olusegun Lano, made the appeal today while addressing newsmen in Abeokuta, the state capital. It disclosed that several letters have been written in the past seeking audience with the state government on key issues of infrastructure gap, particularly at the Tai Sholari College of Education. According to him, the institution has for years of neglect and poor funding, including 7 months of unpaid salaries spanning over 76 months. Kenny Bamidele is standing by with stories from the exciting world of sport. All right, to bring you details of that, our subsequent bulletin on the foreign scene, pressure to capture the capital city of Ukraine, Kiev, heightens. The Ukrainian government has armed volunteers in the city with 18,000 machine guns, taxing them to defend Kiev. The government also called on the people to resist the invading troops by all means. At a statement, Ukraine's Interior Ministry advisor, Vermenda Denisenko, also confirmed that leaflets containing step-by-step instructions of how to make petrol bombs have been distributed to its population. This is coming after President Volodymyr Zelensky said 137 civilians and military personnel were killed on the first day of the invasion, with 316 wounded. Zelensky described the victims as heroes. He noted that the numbers are expected to rise following the recent strikes. Anuluwa Pomorinde has more from the foreign scene.
Reactions have continued